Hey guys, Fleet Feet back with another war selection video. As promised, it's going to be another one from the tournament. It's going to be another one featuring an IR game, this time showing a midline timing that they used. They used either Sipakh or Ronin, which I'm sure you've seen a lot in your own games lately. But they do a relatively clean timing on it, and it seems like a clean build overall. I've looked at it quickly in the last 20 minutes or so. I've looked over it a couple of times. Just to kind of get points to talk about. Pretty much immediately we'll notice some interesting things that are happening with the build, which I know for me gives me stuff to learn and stuff to try out in my games going forward. So yeah, join me along in this as we watch BigBadWolf play a midline cavalry opening, and yeah, join with me in learning some of the stuff that they do and why it's cool. I actually love, by the way, shout out to the devs for having this replay system. The fact that I could just have a code in my clipboard and have that game in that code is awesome. I don't actually have to dig up the replay and put it in the right folder and stuff. It's great. So, off the bat, we'll see a similar, but not completely the same build to what I was expected to be the default. Normally, you'll see this first worker get rallied to food. Instead, we've got 5 dudes on food. That first worker went and built huts. This second worker is going to go to wood. These guys are going to go build a warehouse, and then immediately on the warehouse finishing, or near immediately, I guess. Come on, Mr. Big Bad Wolf. You showed it to me. Oh, currently we're microing trying to kill some deer, which is awesome. Free food is great. Always do it. We've got these 8 dudes, so you can see we're rallying straight to wood. We only have 5 dudes on berries. We queued up berry comb first. So he's prioritizing the berry collection food speed upgrade over the firewood ropes, which is the opposite of what I do, and he's prioritizing rallying dudes to wood first and berries after a certain point. As far as when exactly that is, I'm not sure, but he had 5 dudes on berries and then slowly works his way up to 6 and 7. He's obviously got the timings figured out where maybe this is just what's comfortable for him. There was a period where we hit 0 food briefly, so we actually shorted our self-worker production, but maybe there's something to this. Maybe it's just 6 dudes on berries, and then you get the rest on wood, and then you can get the berry comb upgrade and get the firewood ropes after that. But it's really neat and kind of weird to see something that I've kind of taken as the standard. You get 8 dudes on berries, you carry on, is again being deviated from in this game. It seems like a common theme that how many workers you get on berries and when you get them on berries is something that IR players have played around with a bit and haven't just settled on something that's comfortable and then done that every game. Second thing to note in this game is that we've only got 1 warehouse. We're not getting that second warehouse for wood efficiency. You could afford to build a warehouse like here, and you would get it better, or you could scouted some wood lines, so you could get a warehouse up here. Yeah, if you could tuck one in there, it'd be good. But instead of getting a second warehouse for efficiency, we're starting the temple early as part of our timing. So he's got 3 guys building the temple. It's only 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the game, so it's quite early, and he's stopped hut production, so he's going to have to put another guy building a hut if he can afford it in now. It takes some 20 seconds to build a hut, and it takes 18 seconds to build 2 workers, so he might get supply capped here. We'll take a look. But the time that you can see he can't actually afford the hut anyway, so it looks like he's cut half of 1 worker because he was short on food early, but he got the upgrades faster because of it. And then it looks like he's going to cut another, if he's doing the full of that, he's cutting another 2 workers here, essentially. But he's going to start his upgrade, because we talked about this before, you get 10 workers after you start this upgrade, because it's 90 seconds. He's going to start it at 30 supply. Should start it at 30 supply, I guess I should say. Yeah, there you go. So he's starting it at 30 supply, so he's only going to make 10 workers from that point. So effectively he could scroll down to 10. I bet you he ends up with 1 worker slightly worked on there. But we've taken a particular path. We started our upgrade to the next age at 30 workers. We're not going to run out of wood in the meantime. And now finally we're starting to get that other warehouse going and get people worked on that. We can easily build huts, as many as we need for the rest of the game. He realized that that was not a place worth protecting, so he's setting it up here. To assess his overall position, we can see that we've got allies and allies and allies, so we're midline pretty safely. It's not that likely that warriors get all the way to us because there's no place for them to sneak around. They'd have to go like all the way down through here and then come up at us for us to not see them coming. Not very likely. Relatively safe, and I believe, don't quote me on it, but we actually got supply blocked there. I believe that part of the reasoning for this build of getting Iron Age or Bronze Age so quickly is that as Asia, and he will be going into Asia, as Asia you can get your towers up in response because you don't need a stonecutter or anything, so once you hit Bronze Age you can immediately start building towers, basically, as soon as you've got dudes that can build them. So it may be the case that he's not afraid of a warrior timing because he's far enough away that by the time the warriors got to his base he could have towers up if he saw them coming. Not entirely sure. I haven't played this build, obviously, so I don't know how those timings work out, but that might be the reasoning here. Bronze Age is done. 10 workers queued up. Population upgrade queued up. In that order. We don't need a population upgrade when we can't supply, or we can't exceed 60 supply at this point anyways. We're not throwing down a bunch of stables just yet, so we don't need to worry about getting a population upgrade before we need it. As for why we're getting to exactly 50 workers, I couldn't speak to that exactly. 50 workers is a pretty decent number. It's a pretty decent economy. It's a bit slower overall. As I pointed out, we slowed down our economy a tiny bit, but we're seeing the same thing that we saw in the Stone Age Rush game. We're upgrading 6. We upgraded 6 guys, and we're going to get them to go build our buildings. We're upgrading a small selection of huts, just so that we don't have to worry about getting supply blocked. And we're rallying all of our dudes, it appears, onto iron. So we're worried about getting our next age upgrade pretty quickly, which makes sense. But we got our Bronze Age early enough to buy us a little bit of time to get everything upgraded, because if you've tried it before, if you go straight into bronze and then immediately want to go into iron, you will always have some time upgrading all your workers, upgrading your huts, upgrading any warehouses you have. So you need to give yourself at least a little bit of a buffer there. 10 and a population upgrade is a huge, giant buffer, but maybe this is how the build works out comfortably for Big Bad Wolf. I don't think that there would be that much of a difference. If you were to go 40 workers or start your temple upgrade at 40 and then go to 50 workers, you would have a little bit of a food difference, but you have free food there, so that's fine. And it also might be like I was talking about before. For this build, you want to start your temple upgrade at 30, yes, so that you can get your Bronze Age done, so that you are defended against Stone Age because you have an early temple and you can start throwing down a crazy amount of towers if you needed to be safe. So yeah, going back up to full speed, or normal speed rather, that's what we've got going on here. These guys have built the poultry yard, so then we can get any amount of Stone Age workers on the poultry yard to get our entire food income, whatever we need there. That's easily done. These guys, after they're done building that poultry yard, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stables? Alright, 7 stables. This friendly little man got upgraded just so he can continue the production of huts, because we are getting that population upgrade eventually, so we will also need enough houses to supply that 90 of 90 supply. We've got only 6 guys on food at the moment. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of food. We don't have any real way to spend it yet, except for on these. So I'm going to take it on faith that Big Bad Wolf has this build figured out, and 6 is the number that he needs to sustain food for this upgrade. And that's fine. Until he starts actual production here, it won't matter. Obviously, because we're going for a cavalry building and we're going through Asia, as soon as the first stable is done, we're going to start the taming a horse upgrade. You could, as far as I know at least, you could go for quiver upgrade as well and go into the heck are they, Oglan or horse archer timing. I don't think that's as strong, or I think we would see more people doing it, but hey, I haven't played it. I haven't had that much time to play lately, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is, or maybe you just find playing horse archers more fun. Another interesting thing to note is, look at this. Here's this guy. He's a Stone Age wood gatherer. He gathers at a rate of 1.2 up to 10, and then he returns with it. Here's a Bronze Age worker. He gathers at 1.1 to 10 and returns it. So in Asia, Stone Age workers are better at food production and better at wood production if you got the upgrade earlier. That's kind of silly and good to know. It looks like he's rallying some extra people onto food. That might be the case. And it looks like he's slowly upgrading all of his... So you know how I said it's a giant buffer? Look, we got through all 10 of those workers, and we got... and we still have huts to upgrade before we can start our Iron Age timing. So we built an extra worker just so that our TC isn't idle, so we're at 51 workers now. That's fine. It looks like... Oh, the stupid bulwark. This is frustrating. I actually end up deleting my bulwarks a lot of the time just because they take so long to upgrade that it feels like a waste. So our Iron Age, actual start of the Iron Age timing, was a few seconds late because we had a couple extra things to do. Ideally, we could have had a fewer... Like, we could have deleted that stone hut and deleted the bulwark. We would have had less, but it would have meant that our Iron Age timing is a little bit faster, and that can be worth it sometimes. So our horse upgrade is done, so our horses are starting to reserve. We're just finishing up our 7th stable now. I'm sure there was a way that you could fiddle it out where you built one less hut and you still didn't get supply blocked and you got this up a little bit faster. They're like tiny details like that. I don't personally know. You'll see for a lot of it, we actually kept our stone workers unupgraded as we, because Big Bad Wolf knows, and I didn't know, that they're actually faster in Stone Age than they are in Bronze Age. We're only now upgrading them. Oh, we actually, sorry, I missed it before. I hadn't taken note for it, but forgot to mention it. He actually did upgrade to exactly 30 Bronze Age workers before he started the Iron Age upgrade, because you need 30 workers for the Iron Age upgrade. He knows that he'll need 40 for the... Is it 40 or 50 for EMA? I think it's 40. Yeah, it's 40. So he's actually now pre-upgraded all the way to 40. So as soon as Iron Age is done, he can immediately go into the Middle Ages. He doesn't have to wait for a couple more workers. I actually don't know where our extra worker is. We don't have an extra worker anymore. We deleted him. Interesting. As for what's happening here, as soon as our reserves are done, we'll actually produce those units. He's using them to clear out some stuff. Currently 16 dudes on food, all 10 of our Stone Age guys, and 6 extra guys. We have 9 guys on iron, which is, I suppose, the way that, again, I trust that Big Bad Wolf has the timings of this build figured out, where he just got 9 guys on iron from the start of Bronze Age, and there you go. That's the iron that he'll need for time going forward. Yeah. These little horse spears, they're pretty cheap. They're not that much of an economy strain. So I actually don't know the details, again, of why we're stockpiling as much food as we are, but maybe it's because he wants to dump, as soon as he gets EMA, dump all the food in. Let's turn on colors, just so we can keep track of these guys without it being a giant pain. Yeah, looks like we got another run of them coming out. And we're just rallying as soon as we get the upgrades. It's interesting to note that he actually starts the Horseman Reserve upgrade here, so instead of reserving only to 1, they will reserve to 2. I have no idea how that works. Oh, he's actually putting out another guy and then getting it. Yeah, because this is 120 seconds and this is 65 seconds, theoretically you lose most of 1 horseman, but maybe he's got it figured out that he's already supply capped at that point. It's interesting to note that he gets the increased reserve size and not the increased reserve speed. I haven't played cavalry styles enough to know, honestly, what this upgrade does. I don't know if it takes it from 65 to 50 or what. But yeah, it's certainly interesting to me that he grabs this one and not this one. I feel like that one would be more useful. But again, we'll take it on faith that Big Bad Wolf knows what he's doing, because he's done a lot of interesting stuff that I certainly haven't thought about already. Like the getting the warehouse that used to be here, getting the berry comb first and not getting the other upgrade. Is this the... Yeah. It was also worthy of note, he did not get the metal one. These guys still collected 0.5. I don't actually know what it upgrades to in Asia if you get the metal chisel. But these guys, he did get the other upgrade, which is the wood collection speed, so they're actually finally as good as Stone Age workers. Hooray! That's good to have. It's a little bit extra wood income. It's always good to look at those. As for what we're doing tactics-wise with all of our horsemen, we have 19 horsemen. For some reason, we're at 89 supply, even though we have 50 workers. I don't actually know. He doesn't have a scout. I was looking at this, like looking for his scout earlier in the replay, could not figure it out. His horsemen being aggressive. They saw an opportunity to be aggressive and not take that much damage, so they're being aggressive. Back at home, we just finished EMA, so we started upgrading one of our stables immediately upon finishing EMA. The rest of them are not getting upgraded. As soon as that stable is done... Where do other horsemen go? Is that my scout? Hey, we found his scout. Never mind, he's still got a scout. As soon as that stable is done, even though we're in their base, and they're rallying out... Oh, this is our buddy. Haha, we were defending. Huh. Well done, anybody. You killed someone. That's funny. I just straight didn't notice that this was Uk's base and Uk was getting attacked. The colors are too similar. Anyways, that's done. Look, it's 13 minutes and 20 seconds. We've got 19 Sipakh upgraded, all ready to go, and murdering things. If he wanted to, he could have deleted his scout and had that extra horseman and had that extra Sipakh, so he could have still had a 13 minute and 10 seconds 20 Sipakh. And that's a pretty heavy timing. That's pretty sweet. So Uk, despite being dead, still beating somebody up. It might actually be... That's funny. They might have killed each other. As for the entire rest of what the hell is happening in this game, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm going to reload this replay in a second, and we're kind of just going to touch base on every IR base at specific timings, just to see what's going on. We're going to do the same thing that we did last game. It's one of the things that I do to kind of get a benchmark for when I should expect things to be happening. We're going to look at all the IR bases and see what kind of builds they're doing. See if it looks familiar or if it looks completely alien to us. Yeah, from this point in the game, just so we can get some closure. Huh, interesting. This is interesting for two reasons. One, it means that one of the IR players actually went to Europe. Two, they actually went Light Knights, who are substantially worse than they have been historically, even though they're still a perfectly viable unit. They're a hell of a lot more expensive than either of the Asian melee cavalry options. So it's interesting that Ranhu went this build. They're certainly better against buildings than the other cavalry are still, but they're not great against them. Yeah, we'll just tick the speed forward a little bit. Watch the game close out. At this point, there's some 2 or 3 players on IR's side that have cavalry running around the map, and most of the players are dead. Look at the mini-map, and look at this horrifying stream of units. Just, poor Purple. I feel you, Purple. I feel you. Phase 1, held. Phase 2, whole bunch of Ronin. Whoa, oh, good repair, good repair. Not enough. This guy also in the meantime died. Is there somebody tucked away in that corner? Nope. IR units frantically searching everywhere. Ooh, he got EMA. He's got some towers up. Will it be enough? Not a chance in hell. Oh look, he's got a bunch of towers up. Let's go kill off all of his economy. There, it doesn't matter how many towers he has now, because he doesn't have any economy. It's just a matter of time before an overwhelming swarm of units run him over. Yeah. Well played to this other team. They lasted a hell of a lot longer than I did in our game against IR. And we've got some extra cosmetics set up just to show love for the devs. GGIR. Cool. Let's back out of it. Hey guys, sorry, it turns out that I recorded that last section that I was talking about towards the end of this, where we look at some other stuff of the games, but I'm actually not going to go back into the replay. I ended up going over it for about 15 minutes, and nothing terribly useful arose. So we're just going to call the video there. We're going to call it a day. We got to look at BigBadWolf's 13-minute Sipakh timing, or 13-minute and 10-second. It gives you some good bones for a build and a good place to work from to do your cavalry rushes in your own game. yeah, once again, thanks for watching. If you like the content, you can expect another video. I usually do aim for doing my uploads on Wednesdays, and at least for the foreseeable future, I'll be putting out a video a week as much as I can. So please do hit that subscribe button wherever you can find it, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.